Welcome, everybody, to another series of Account Showcase, bringing light to the profession of folks out there and what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, how they got started, and the exciting world of accounting. So with us today, we have Sandra Wiley, the shareholder and president over at Boomer Consulting. Sandra, nice to meet you. Thanks for your time. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Chris, it is so good to be here. And yeah, I have been now a part of Boomer Consulting for a little over 25 years. And so a long time. So I have seen this profession change dramatically in that time frame. And it has been amazing. Now, I love what you said about it's kind of a good time to be in accounting. It's exciting and it's fun. And that's the reason I get up every day and do what I do, because every day is different. Every day is changing, but every day is amazing. And so it makes me sad sometimes when I hear people talk like they're not excited about accounting anymore, or they think it's kind of boring or blah. I get pretty passionate about telling them that is not true. It's a great profession to be in.
Oh yeah, for sure. I couldn't agree anymore. And 25 years is amazing. And is this something that you always wanted to do, or kind of what's the backstory? Did somebody influence you? Was kind of being accounting as you were growing up? Tell us.
I didn't have any thoughts of being in accounting when I was growing up. I'm not sure what I thought I was going to be, but I know it wasn't going into accounting. And my story is pretty interesting because I did not go to school right. I mean, I didn't go to college right out of high school. I went and got a job in a bank and grew up in banking. And I did well enough that I became a financial analyst, did not have a degree in finance, but that was something that just appealed to me. And I grew up there, went through some major life changes after a while and I was in Reno, Nevada at the time, came back to Kansas, which is where I live today. And I was looking for something different. So I went back to school, got my degree in human resource management. Talk about looking at the spectrum of what people do. That's totally the opposite end, right? Finance to human resources. And one day I was in a leadership academy in Manhattan, Kansas. It was a leadership program. And I came across Gary Boomer. And Gary was looking for someone to work with him and do this whole consulting thing with CPA firms. And at that time, it was all about technology. And after we talked for about an hour, he said, I think I want to hire you. And I said, I think I'd like to work with you too. And it was one of those things that we just knew we liked each other. It wasn't anything about the job at that point. I had no idea what the job was even going to be, but we just knew, right? It was just one of those intuitive kind of feelings. And I've never been sorry that I made that decision that day. I left banking, went into the accounting world. And one of the things Gary said to me early on was, your background in human resources is something that this profession needs. And I think you could have some influence on what's happening. So I think part of it was good timing. I think part of it was that he gave me the opportunity. I think part of it is it kind of lit my fire, which you're always looking for that thing that makes you get up in the morning and go, gosh, I love what I do. And that is what I found. And so with all of that, then I developed that part of Boomer Consulting, the talent development, learning and training part of the company, and never looked back. And, we started, so I think this is interesting. When people say, I can't believe that an accounting firm would go into consulting and advisory, and I'm not sure how we would do that. I just laugh because Gary did it, 20 odd years ago when I started working with him. He was an accountant working in an accounting firm, and he started a consulting business that is extremely lucrative and extremely popular right now, right? If those same accountants had done the same thing, and gone down that road, wow, think about how far ahead they would be right now. And so that's what we do. We wake up every morning and we help CPA firms learn how to do that advisory consulting work. And we do that by looking at all parts of their practice, talent, growth, process improvement, technology, and leadership. And boy, it's a fun ride. And hence one of the reasons we found you. Right? One of the reasons that we became good friends with you and your company, because you're doing such great things. So we're always looking for great partners to connect with our clients. And that's what we're happily doing with you.
Yeah. And I love that story because simply the fact that folks think the profession is just like number crunching, data entry, tax returns, and it's so much more.
It
Hence what
is.
you guys do. Hence what we do.
Yeah.
And it's not just that type of work. And even nowadays, with the assistance of AI, robotics, and all that jazz, you still need human interfaces, and especially
Yeah.
working with clients and especially on the advisory side. So this profession, if anything, is going to just take off. But folks like us, the resources are needed by the accounting industry, and so it's exciting to have you here. And my next question for you is kind of you've been doing this now for quite some time, but let's talk just the last 5 years and then over the next 5 years, kind of where you saw the profession and how it's grown and changed, and where do you see it going over the next few years?
Yep. So going backwards, so looking back at the last 5 years, what has really, in my opinion, changed a ton is the mindset of going from we're just a compliance firm to, you know what, we could be more. We could have advisory, we could have consulting. And the one area in particular that I think has just exploded is the CAS, client accounting or client advisory services. My goodness, every firm I talk to, that has just blown up because finally clients are seeing us as more than tax and more than audit. It's like, oh, you could be our outsourced CFO. You could take over all of this and we wouldn't have to worry about it. And so that is just, I think that has blown up. And I think that mindset of the really good managing partners and leadership teams out there, really understanding that it's not scary, that it is not scary to let go of some things and let them go to technology and let the people in your firm really work on the higher level work. I think that mindset has changed. Now, has it changed in every single firm? Probably not. But, the people that are on the bleeding edge or even just in the beginning stages of innovation, they get it and they're doing really well. Now look down the road in 5 years. Oh my goodness, who knows? Every time I say 5 years, that seems like such a long ways off, but it's going to be here in the blink of an eye. And I think that is what's going to change the most. I think a lot of firms, or some firms, not a lot yet, have changed their name and their branding and their marketing to be, a CPA firm, advisors and consultants, right? I think that is going to be the norm. 5 years from now, that's going to be the norm. And if you're not there, if you are not providing consulting and advisory, I think your time is limited. I think you're going to be, and some firms are waiting for, well, it's kind of hard for me, so I'll just wait and sell my firm. No, you won't. Nobody's going to want your firm. They may want your clients, but they'll just wait for you to leave and then they'll take your clients. So I think that's one thing. I think the other thing that's going to change is that compliance work that we have always been hanging our hat on will still be a part of our firm, but it will not be done by people. It'll be done by AI, right? It is going to be done by a machine. And people are scared about that. And the scare that they throw up is, oh my gosh, how are people going to learn how to do the higher level accounting work if they don't do the entry level work? Well, guess what? We all learned how to do accounting without a pencil and without paper when we got rid of our Columnar pads. We all learned how to do accounting when we got rid of Excel, and it all went into the technologies we have now. The reality is technology helps us be better, and we will teach and train differently, but it's going to be just fine. And in fact, I would say the people that you'll hire will be so much more grateful that they can do high level work instead of pencil pushing work. You won't have anything to worry about, nothing to worry about. I think that's what it's going to look like. And I also think the last thing I would say is I think our firms are going to look different. Today, we look like we're full of CPA firms and a few other people sprinkled in the middle of it. I think we're going to have more balance. I think you're going to see wealth managers. I think you're going to see technology people there. You're going to see data analysts in the firm. You're going to see marketing take a much bigger place in the firm. So we're going to have a much more balanced business with the people side of it. I don't think it's just going to be only CPAs. They'll be important. I'm not going to for 1 minute say it's not important. but they're not going to be the onlys anymore. There's going to be a whole bunch of other really great talent that's really going to take hold. So I guess that's what I would say for the future. I'm excited about it, quite frankly. So I hope everybody else is.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that the most recent changes that pushed into this virtual remote environment was kind of a force, and a lot of folks were reluctant to do it, but realize that you can do it. And you're able to kind of be agile and maneuver and shift your firm and adapt to it. And I know sometimes the industry has a mindset of, I've been doing this for 20 years, I've been doing this for 30 years, and doing this for 40 years. But change, it's going to happen. It's constant. And so it's just a matter of when. And a lot of folks are realizing that when has come up, and you just have to adapt. And so I agree what you're saying, that if anything, the profession is going to grow in such a more profound way, and not just be stagnant or by any means go backwards. It's exciting times. So I absolutely agree.
I agree. I think it's going to be very exciting. And what a great thing to sell to the next generation of accountants or people coming into our profession, to tell them about this amazing firm that we're going to build and this amazing career and future. Oh my goodness. I think that is, we're worried about recruiting. If you want to stop worrying about recruiting, start building a firm that is really full of change leadership. I mean, that is what it's going to be all about. So I am convinced that we're on the right track. We just have to take advantage of it now.
Yeah, I agree. So besides being an awesome consultant, what does Sandra like to do for fun outside of work?
I love that question. Well, I will tell you, I got a whole bunch of stuff that I love to do that's outside of my job, my job that pays me, I guess. I would say my first is, my family. I'm a real family person. I've got 6 grandchildren. I've got 3 kids who are all happily married now. I have a husband who's amazing, and we love to play golf and we love to travel. And so COVID slowed us down a little bit, and now I'm catching up on all of it for this year. All of our trips we had to cancel, we've rebooked for this year. So I'm excited about getting back into the travel mode again. We have a ton of friends that, going out to dinners and going out to shows and having just a good life. So you need balance, right? You got to have balance in your life. And if for all of those people out there that are working ridiculous hours and loving what they do, I want you to do that, but stop and take time to really enjoy your life. It is short. You'll look up one day and go, wow, that went really fast. And make sure that you're building a great life along the way. So
well said. Yeah, no, you have to take time and step away, and whatever it is that whether if it's reading, if it's writing, if it's hanging out with friends, family, you just have to step away. You can't work around the clock. I mean, life's way too short, like you said, and you got to enjoy every moment for sure. Sandra, thank you so much for taking time out today and talking about your journey, and really excited to meet with you, and we'll talk soon.
Chris, it was wonderful meeting you, and hello to your whole audience.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.